Okay, so welcome everybody to my lecture today. So my lecture today is about a factory, a very important factory known as the Electron Transport Chain ATP making factory. Now this electron transport chain is the main factory which makes ATP or the energy for your body, and this takes place in the mitochondrial membrane inside the mitochondria. So let us, before we go into, let us talk about the details about some specific things. Let me present my slides now. Is my slide visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So it's loading up right now. Let me get the pointer straight. Okay. So before you go ahead, I would like you to. I've sent already this in the Google Classroom. This particular presentation slide. So I would like you to read. Go to this link and read the reference over here. You can find in brief about the electron transport chain. It's a new sort of database for biology. It's known as BioLibriText. This is another, and I like Wikipedia. This is another interesting thing which has opened. I'm quite enjoying this. Here you have it in a short form. It's in very brief and concise. Therefore, I'm liking it. In Wikipedia, you have excess details. Knowledge is, of course, quite reliable from these sites. So, in the background, you can see in a transparent manner, I have just pasted a picture of a component of the electron transport chain. It is known as ATP synthase, and this is a very huge thing which I will talk about later. So, to start, first we must understand what biological oxidation is. So, biological oxidation is the combination of oxidation, reduction, transformation of substances in living organisms. Oxidation reduction reactions are those which take place with a change in the oxidation state of the atom through the redistribution of electrons between them. So, in a nutshell, one compound, it loses electrons, and for example, this compound A, it loses electrons and it gives it to the compound B. It loses electrons and it becomes its oxidized form. Compound A becomes, after the loss of electron, becomes oxidized. When the electron is lost, the compound becomes oxidized. At the same time, somebody's gain is somebody's loss, and somebody's loss is somebody's gain. Compound B, it was in an oxidized form, and after gaining the electron, it becomes reduced compound B. So, this particular reaction is an oxido-reduction reaction. So, both oxidation and reduction, that is loss of electron for one and gain of electron for the other, both these things are taking place together. So, this is something one can really appreciate. This happens in almost all the steps you can find. So, all the important steps, especially in the energy making steps. So, these type of reactions are also called redox reactions. So, in a redox reaction, one of the reacting molecules loses electrons and is said to be oxidized, while another reacting molecule gains electrons, the ones lost by the first molecule, and is said to be reduced. So basically, one's loss is one's gain. The one which loses electrons is oxidized, and the process is known as oxidation. and the one which gains electron is reduced and is known as process is known as reduction. The same thing. This is for NADH. So one organic molecule, say something which has got two hydrogen atoms. For example, if you remember your biochemical metabolic steps, uh, the function of most important function which you can see in the Krebs cycle, you can find lots of dehydrogenase. Or for example, you can think about the pyruvate dehydrogenases. All these enzymes, they take two hydrogens from a compound and convert that compound into another compound, and they give it to NAD plus, and it gives it to NAD plus, and NAD plus, and it takes hydrogen, or the proton is an hydrogen, H plus is a proton, takes it from the from that, and it forms NADH plus H plus. So always remember to write NADH plus H plus. Don't forget this H plus, because basically two hydrogens come out. Only there is a vacancy of one hydrogen of fitting in this place, and the other hydrogen is it's nearby, it's in the environment. So it's always, there is an extra proton which comes with a dehydrogenase reaction. At the same time, you can see this step is the oxidation step, and this step is the reduction step.
Sir?
Go ahead. Go ahead. What's your question?
Sir?
Huh?
Sir, NAD plus এর সোর্সটা কি, মানে কি?
NAD
প্লাস
plus
সব জায়গায় শুনি, তো NAD প্লাসটা অ্যাকচুয়ালি কোথা থেকে আসে?
NAD plus
কোথা থেকে আসে, মানে সোর্সটা কি NAD প্লাসের?
Food. Everything is food and synthesized. It's a coenzyme. Where is the source of what is the source of your vitamins? Everything comes from food, and it is basically nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. So basically, it's a nucleotide compound, and it has got a vitamin attached to it, nicotinamide or nicotinamide, you can say. So basically, it's synthesized in the body. NADH is synthesized. Anything which you get is coming from your food. You take it from your outside. All sustenance are coming from only basically carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, some basic elements, and they basically are formed inside your body. That is the source of energy. It's a very good question, actually.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So let us go to the next slide. Now, along with this, there is another thing which you must understand before, that is redox potential or reduction potential. So why is this important? The reduction potential, it says, it is the ease by which electron flows from one species to another. It is the ease from which, let's go to the previous slide. It's the ease from which, from this electron, this molecule, the electron is flowing to this. So this must be willing to release the electron. Therefore, it's a reducing agent, and this must be willing to accept the electron. So, কত easily যাচ্ছে. For some you need more energy, for some you need less energy, something like that. Imagine. So reduction potential, also known as redox potential or oxidation reduction potential, you can find this as EH. It measures the tendency of a chemical species to acquire electrons, thereby be reduced. So the chemical species, say it is NAD plus. It measures the tendency of NAD plus to acquire the electron from some other compound. From some other, say it can be a malate. From malate, it makes oxaloacetate. So you have two electrons going from malate, and plus 2H plus is also going. 2 hydrogen is also going. So to get reduced to oxaloacetate, it becomes it's something like this happens. So this measures the tendency of a chemical species to acquire electrons, thereby be reduced. Reduction potential is measured in volts or millivolts. Each species has its own intrinsic reduction potential. Keep this line, listen to this line very carefully. The more positive the potential, if the reduction potential is more positive, the greater the species affinity for electrons. So it has got a tendency to accept electrons. The more positive this value of this millivolt value, the more positive it is, the more it can accept electrons. And the other is true. If it's negative, then it's just the other way around. So this is a Voltiac cell which you must have read. So if you have, for example, two solutions in one vessel separated by a porous disc, and there is an electrode here, a zinc electrode here, and a copper electrode, and you have a solution zinc sulfate and a copper sulfate solution. Now you place them and connect them with a wire. This is more positive and this is negative. So electrons from here will flow towards here, and that will be the flow of electrons is the electric current, and immediately you can measure it in a voltmeter. This is the principle of a battery, the battery which works. A battery works like this, essentially. At the same time, through this porous disc, this anion will flow from here to here. And then again, you have to charge the battery to separate the zinc sulfate and the copper sulfate. Say, for example, they use even much more high. You see that lithium hydride battery. Your rechargeable battery in your mobile is lithium hydride. On one side, you have lithium here and you have hydride over here. From hydride, the electron will go to the lithium. And then immediately there is your mobile is giving you a light or using that energy. So this is how a battery basically works. So that it's the same thing. It's a battery in our cells, essentially. So another term which you have to understand is the standard reduction potential. The standard reduction potential is the reduction potential of a molecule under specific standard conditions. It's the same thing. The reduction potential, the tendency to the ease with which it can release electrons. So if it has got a tendency to keep electrons or accept electrons, it is very difficult to convince the molecule to part its electron. You have to give it more energy to leave it. And this is very important. It can be useful to understand the directionality of the reaction. Say in a reaction A is forming B. So if B has got a tendency to accept electrons, it's very difficult for B to become A because it's not releasing its electrons. So it's something like this. If B wants to accept electrons, always the reaction will be accept electrons. But if B wants to give electrons, the tendency will always be to give the electrons. So the direction of the reaction can be either B to A or A to B, depending upon the reduction potential of A or B. If B has got higher reduction potential positive, it will wish to keep its electron. It will try to pull electrons from B. So the reaction will always be from the direction of B to A. Something like this, imagine. Trinamool or BJP. The party which gives you more initiative, you will go to that party. The direction of popular votes will go to that party. Something like that. Don't take it as a political statement. It's a statement to teach you how the reaction progresses. Okay. So a solution with a higher reduction potential than the new species will have a tendency to gain electrons from the new species. That is to be reduced by oxidizing the new species. And the solution with a more negative will have a tendency to lose electrons. So here is basically the standard reduction potential in millivolts, E0. It is measured as E0. So if you see this chart, this part is minus and this part is plus. So if the reduction potential is minus, it is minus. It is not very favorable. This reaction is not very favorable. Glucose to 2-pyruvate, you will need some ATP and stuff to break to give energy. ME glucose will not get oxidized. You need to give, say for example, 2 molecules of ATP for it to go to a higher state of glucose 6-phosphate. So it's minus 720 millivolts. Then glucose oxidation is minus 500, and below this, Over here, this is the reaction direction, arrow. And from here, this is the favored direction. So the more positive it's becoming, a solution with higher reduction potential, that is more positive than the new species, will have a tendency to gain electrons from the new species. So glucose will be having a tendency to gain electrons. And over here, NO2 will have a tendency to give electrons. This is what is meant by this. Am I clear here? Somebody please open your mic and say if I'm clear.
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So then this is clear. Read it again. Keep your, I'm taking time over here. The next part I will go very fast. Not very fast, but reasonably fast. So this basically, if you understand the reduction potential, you can go to the next part. Which is reduction potential in the electron transport chain. So in the electron transport chain on the mitochondrial membrane, there are several electron carriers. A carrier is a molecule which accepts electrons. So the first carrier is known as complex 1. You can see in the bottom there is complex 1, complex 2. In the bottom you can see over here complex 1, complex 2. It's under this. So you have complex 1, complex 2, complex 3, complex 4. So this is complex 4, complex 1, complex 2, complex 3, complex 4. So complex 1, you can find that it is very negative. Complex 2 is the redox potential is less negative. And over here, it almost becomes complex 3 and 4, it becomes positive. So as redox potential becomes positive, on the left side, you can see the redox potential is becoming positive. The tendency to gain electrons becomes higher. So they gain electron much more here. And one more thing you can see is that the free energy.
So গ্রাফটা কিসের মানে গ্রাফটা অ্যাকচুয়ালি কিসের redox potential লেখা আছে?
It is on the left side what you measure is the redox potential. At the same time you are also measuring the energy, free energy of the molecule. Am I clear? You are measuring both of them.
আচ্ছা মানে একই অ্যাক্সিসের উপর হচ্ছে দুটো?
একই অ্যাক্সিসের মধ্যে হচ্ছে দুটো। আচ্ছা। You cannot keep both of them on the left side, then it's confusing, so you put it on this right side. So at the same time you are measuring what you are measuring is you're measuring the redox potential of these compounds or these carriers. Redox potential is becoming more and more positive. So as redox becomes positive, tendency to gain electrons becomes higher. So if we go to the last,
yes sir,
solution with a more positive potential will have a tendency to gain electrons. Will have a tendency to gain electrons from the new species. So it will have more tendency. So more positive it's becoming, the redox potential, the more it will try to gain electrons. Am I clear on this part?
Yes sir. Yes
okay,
sir.
Great. So
yes,
we are just the electron. And one more thing, bolo Abir bolo. কিছু বলছিলে আবির?
না স্যার ঠিক আছে।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, okay. So what happens next is that it is becoming positive, at the same time it's losing energy also. It had so much energy over here, it is just going down and it's losing energy at the same time. So it's jumping from here to here to here, it's losing energy. At each step some work is done, and this work is to pump hydrogen from inside the mitochondria to the intermembrane space. I will explain this later. So this is the thing, what it does. It is this energy this electron, high energy electron, which had a redox potential of negative, which has got a tendency going down, the energy state is falling, and at each step, the energy state is falling, it's releasing some energy, and that energy is used to do some work, and that work is needed later. And where is this NADH coming? It's basically coming from your food, from your glucose. Glycolysis, NAD is formed, NADH is formed. It's for NADH is formed in Krebs cycle. NADH is formed in beta oxidation of fat. You see lots of NADHs, FADH2, these are all formed. So all these have got high reduction potential, reducing compound with high reduction potential. Reduction potential means loss of gives electrons. Okay. So let's go to the next step. This is an overview of the electron transport system. Essentially, you have few compounds over here. Essentially, you have this complex, first complex. You have a second complex here. You have the third complex here, the fourth complex here, and this is a fifth complex, but this is not considered as a complex. It's the ATP synthase. So this part is the electron transport chain, and this is the oxidative phosphorylation part, or the chemiosmosis. Oxidative phosphorylation part, that means it's phosphorylating. ADP is getting phosphorylated by an inorganic phosphate to form ATP. So, it has got two components which are coupled. Coupled means joda, they are attached to each other. So, for example, my slide stream, it is coupled to being recorded. So I can separate it. The recording part can be separate and my slide can be separate. But I have joined these two. So whatever I am talking is getting recorded. Similarly, this is what's happening. At each step, the electron is from NADH, it's released. It's going from each step from this to this. And from here, FADH2, another few electrons are coming inside. It's going to the next compound. And then at each step, the energy is, it's going down means the energy is also going down. And this at the same time, this oxygen, which is formed over, it needs oxygen. So without oxygen, you cannot survive. This is where your oxygen is needed. Why do you need oxygen to breathe? You have, when there is no oxygen, well, what is the problem? This is the problem. This thing will not be formed. You'll have water forming all over inside your cell. And what happens? What will happen if you don't have oxygen? You have hydrogen. What happens basically when this electron transport chain happens? What it does, it pumps hydrogen outside. This energy, the electron which has got a higher energy, when it goes from this to this state, from this to this state, it's releasing some energy, and that energy is used to transport this hydrogen which is present. This is the mitochondrial membrane. Okay, inner mitochondrial membrane. This is the there is an outer membrane over here, and this is a membrane space over here, and this is inside the mitochondrial matrix, inside the mitochondria. What it wants to do is it wants to send this hydrogen ion from here against the concentration gradient. Any energy is required, and it does it, and it sends the hydrogen ion outside. So the hydrogen ion concentration here becomes higher, and this hydrogen ion, when it becomes higher and it's lower inside, this tries to come inside, and this is like a dynamo. So the more hydrogen it tries to come inside, as it comes inside, it rotates this particular enzyme. This rotation works like a dynamo, and it generates some energy, and that energy is used to join ADP plus P to form ATP. ADP and P is in a lower energy state. It needs some. This reaction needs energy from outside. So this energy is provided by this movement, like this hydroelectric plant. Water from top, it flows to the bottom. In between, a turbine moves. This is a turbine. In between, a turbine moves, and this turbine is used to generate electricity. From here, this turbine, this energy which is formed, it is used to make ATP. So this is what essentially happens. So if, for example, if you don't have oxygen over here, this hydrogen will start accumulating inside. This hydrogen which is coming inside from this turbine, it will start accumulating. It needs to be sent outside. So this has to be made into water. Water is safe, so it is not hydrogen. If there is hydrogen over here, this gradient is not formed. You lose this gradient. So it is very important that you have oxygen. Otherwise, ojo thala. If you stop any of these components, if you stop any of these components, the concentration on both sides, hydrogen concentration on both sides becomes equal. This will be working. When it becomes equal, no ATP production. This will not move. No gradient, this will not move. And if this doesn't move, no ATP production. No ATP production, you will die. What potassium cyanide does is, it stops it here. This skull mark is here. So whenever all these terrorists, they carry a cyanide capsule with them, they stop this electron immediately. They die. They don't die like this. It takes about an hour to die. You can still revive that person. In the movies, it is exaggerated, I believe. So what are the compounds?
মাইটোকন্ড্রিয়ার বাইরে হাইড্রোজেন আয়নটাকে যেতে হয় ডায়নামোটা ঘোরানোর জন্য, যাতে ফিরে এসে
Exactly. Mitochondrial বাইরে নয়. It is between the mitochondria has got two membranes. One is outer membrane, one is in the inner membrane. Okay, so in between the two membranes. Okay, it is not going to the cytoplasm. It is inside the mitochondria, but intermembrane space between membranes. So another membrane is outside. The reason is that only reason is to send hydrogen ions to move this dynamo. আর কিছু না.
মানে
এক্স্যাক্টলি,
মানে গ্রেডিয়েন্টটা যতক্ষণ থাকবে ততক্ষণ ডায়নামোটা ঘুরবে, সমান হয়ে গেলে ঘুরবে না।
এক্স্যাক্টলি, গন কেস। Cyanide will stop that. So you die, no ATP or insufficient ATP. First you put it in your tongue, the tongue becomes paralyzed because it's not getting energy. Then it is spread throughout the body. You should have a sufficient amount of cyanide. মানে একটা particular, there is an amount. তুমি just একটা জিভে ছোঁয়ালেই কি মরে যাবে তা তো নয়। You have to, it's a capsule you have to take. That capsule has got sufficient amount of cyanide to kill. So anyway, that's a very bad way to kill. So let us not talk about all these terrorism and
exaggerate করা থাকে, মানে অত তাড়াতাড়ি মরে না।
না, it is exaggerated. মানে but it is very poisonous. Don't take it very easily. It's very poisonous, and people very die. এটাও আই থিঙ্ক মানে বলে যে সায়ানাইডের টেস্ট করার জন্য 4টে সায়েন্টিস্ট বসেছিল, মানে একজন এস লিখে মরে গেল, একজন ও লিখে মরে গেল, একটা ইউ লিখে মরে গেল, একটা আর লিখে, the taste is power বলতে মানে মরে গেল। That is also a false statement, I think. I don't know the truth, but I don't think it's something like that. Nobody knows, no scientist does an experiment to kill himself. I will not do, or no scientist, however dedicated that person is, to understand the taste of a particular molecule which is going to kill you, I'll not do it. Stupid. I don't believe that story. Until unless that person is wanting to commit a suicide, it is very difficult to take one's own life. Until unless you have a mental problem, and 4 people having the same mental problem in one room and dying, I don't think it's happening like that. So these are the compounds with high reducing potential. First is the NAD and NADH plus. NADH. So the equation basically is NAD plus 2 electron plus H plus, that is NADH. So 2 electron is there and 1 H plus is there. Another H plus is there. 1 H plus is there, NADH. And 2 electrons, another note that this basically NAD plus H minus is NADH. So this is an hydride ion. H minus is H plus 2 electrons. So basically because of that extra electron, it becomes H minus. Another one is the FADH2. This FAD molecule, plus 2 hydrogen atoms plus 2 electrons, this becomes the FADH. So we are talking about NAD and FADH. You remember that in glycolysis or Krebs cycle, you have these two molecules. You can remember that NADH gives 2.5 ATP in the electron transport chain. FADH gives 1.5 ATP molecules. Essentially, former times they thought that 3 and 2, but it has reduced now. So one more thing you have to learn is the proton motive force. So this is what I wanted to say, the proton motive force. The proton motive force is the force by which this hydrogen moves the dynamo and goes inside. That's it. To make the gradient, to move the dynamo. This is the proton motive force. The force which the hydrogen ion has to go inside. It drives the conversion of ADP to ATP. So ADP and this energy that is utilized, and ADP and for inorganic phosphate, it forms ATP. So this is the proton motive force. 1 mark, 2 marks, you can have questions coming like this. I don't know what will happen in this corona situation. And so let's go back to a few slides. I want to show you a certain thing. You see over here, from where does the NADH enter into the mitochondria? You see, you have a malate aspartate shuttle. NADH cannot enter into the pass through the mitochondrial membrane. So it needs a shuttle to move from one side to the other side. So you have a lactate shuttle. You have another FADH2 comes through the glyceraldehyde phosphate shuttle. So there are 3 types of shuttle which pumps NADH inside the mitochondria, because all these reactions are taking place, Krebs cycle and electron transport chain, they are taking place inside the mitochondria. So this is the malate aspartate cycle. So this part is outside, this part is inside. This is the cytosol, cytoplasm, and this is the matrix. This is the 2 membranes. So aspartate with this enzyme, it becomes oxaloacetate, NADH plus H plus. This NADH plus H plus, you want to transfer it inside. So this becomes NADH. You need NADH plus H plus, not NAD plus. It is converted to malate. Malate can then enter inside this. Now this malate is again broken back to the oxaloacetate. In this process, this NAD this releases an hydrogen ion, and NADH, whatever has been given over here is taken back here. So this NAD plus which is present inside it's basically you're transferring your energy to that part. It's nothing. I am dying, I am transferring my property to my son, and my son will continue the good work. Imagining that my son is absolutely 100% like me, will do things like me, does like me, something like that. It transfers the baton, but basically this NAD remains here, and this NAD remains inside. It just gets converted to the more energized form. Basically, my son is receiving my money. That's all. Okay. So this is the malate aspartate shuttle. Then you have the lactate shuttle, which uses a monocarboxylate transporter. Here, for example, in the cytosol, say glycolysis, the NADH plus H plus which is formed, and pyruvate is formed, and pyruvate is in anaerobic condition, it forms lactate, and the enzyme is lactate dehydrogenase. So this NADH is converted to lactate. Lactate can then easily, through this MCT shuttle, it can MCT transporter, it can enter inside the mitochondria. And again, the opposite thing happens with LDH. It converts the lactate back into pyruvate and NADH. Pyruvate enters into the Krebs cycle, which also takes place in the mitochondria, and you have the NADH plus H plus. And you have the glyceraldehyde phosphate shuttle. It's the same thing. Glyceraldehyde, the DAP and GAP. So glyceraldehyde, this dihydroxyacetone phosphate. This NADPH, it forms the NAD, and it forms this glycerol 3 phosphate. And this particular energy is converted converts FAD into FADH2, and this is again regenerated back in this process. To take 2 hydrogens out from here, it forms this thing. At the same time, it takes 2 electrons also, and again, if you return it back, this again converts back into this. This is the glyceraldehyde phosphate shuttle. This is how you can push the NADP and the NADH and the FADH inside the mitochondria. So now let us go to the complex 1. Complex 1 looks like this. Basically, you have NADH is converted in the bottom of the screen. NADH is converted into NAD plus H plus plus 2 electrons. The 2 electrons goes through these electron carriers. It jumps from here to here. It passes the electron from here to here, passes it from here. At each step, some energy is released. And this energy is used to pump 4 hydrogen ions outside from the inner mitochondrial matrix to the intermembrane space between the matrix. As you know, the inner wall of the matrix is folded into finger-like projections known as trypsis, if you can recall from cell biology. So the same thing happens here, and at the same time, you find there is a compound known as quinoline. It gets reduced with this hydrogen. It takes 2 hydrogen from inside and gets reduced. So the concentration of hydrogen inside keeps on reducing. So it is converted into QH2. Enzyme, the name of this complex one is NADH dehydrogenase. Now let us go to the next complex, complex 2. It's a small complex. This complex actually is also an enzyme of Krebs cycle. It's known as succinate dehydrogenase. This complex is known as succinate dehydrogenase. Okay, so this complex has also got the same thing. This when succinate, if you remember, Krebs cycle is converted into fumarase. It transfers the electron to FADH2. FADH2 then with hydro and takes 2 hydrogen, and FADH2 again becomes FAD. It transfers. It doesn't pump any hydrogen out, but it then transfers the electron to these compounds, and it gives takes 2 hydrogen and then it becomes QH2. It stops over here. Now in complex 3, this QH2 which is formed, which is coming from both complex 1 and coming from both complex 1 and 2, the QH2 which is formed, that gets oxidized to 2Q and it releases 4 hydrogen ions outside. It is 2 into 2 is 4, 2 H2, and there are 2 molecules. So 4 hydrogen ions. It's pumped out. And 2 electrons are sent over here and 2 electrons are sent over here. These 2 electrons, they go through this process and it takes another 2 hydrogen from the mitochondrial matrix and again makes one more QH2 over here. So you are regenerating back 1 QH2 and give 4 of them and you are getting back 1. And this is actually the other step. What this does, that this electron it goes through from step to step and it reduces cytochrome C. From the oxidized form, it forms the cytochrome C. Reduced form has got a higher energy. That makes it rather than higher energy, it has got electrons. It can donate electrons. The energy is falling, free energy is falling, and the tendency to gain electrons is increasing. So the energy of the electrons, these 4 electrons, they have reduced a lot, and that energy is used to pump 4 hydrogen ion outside. Next we go to complex 4. So the reduced cytochrome.
স্যার কিউ গুলো কি বললেন আপনি? আমি শুনতে পাইনি হয়তো। QH2 যে কিউ, ওটা কি?
Q is a compound which accepts hydrogen and electrons. It's an electron carrier, intermediate of the electron transport chain.
আর যে সাইটোক্রোম গুলো তৈরি হলো, ওগুলো কোনো কাজ আছে?
Cytochrome is also another electron acceptor.
Okay.
Cytochrome এর নাম শুনেছো তো? You have heard about cytochrome? It's an iron-based compound, cytochrome, and it gives a particular color. Therefore, the name comes chrome. So this cytochrome, which is formed, reduced, it turns back into an oxidized form, and 4 electron is released in this process, and this goes to other iron centers, and here is the place where oxygen is converted into water. This is where it needs some oxygen. Otherwise, this 4 hydrogen, it will stay over here, and hydrogen which is entering, and so you lose the gradient. So you need this. and this energy is used to pump 4 hydrogen ions outside. Each step khali hydrogen is being pushed from inside to outside. Now the fifth and the most dynamic thing is the ATP synthase. This is its structure. This is in the other way around. You just invert it and it becomes this. It's just inverted out. So this place is known as the rotor. It turns. You can see these arrows, it turns. It's made up of so many protein units. It turns. This is the stator. Like Satoki rides his motorbike, he's got a brake. Motorbike, na scooty. He's got a brake. The stator is the brake. Stop rotating. Otherwise, the wheels are rotating. But you need a brake also sometimes. The stator is basically the brake. When it releases, again the wheels start to rotate. So a brake is also needed sometimes. I don't need ATP. Why the hell should I be there? Be ATP now? Stop. A brake comes in. Okay. And this is the stator. This is the rotor, this is the stalk, and this is the essential main knob, the door knob. This knob is basically contains a catalytic unit which converts ATP to ADP. So hydrogen is entering, this is turning, and ADP is making ATP. This is oxidative phosphorylation. Now, two questions. What is the one question? Is what is substrate level oxidative phosphorylation, and other is what is oxidative phosphorylation. So, substrate, for example, is phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvate formation. ATP is formed when an enzyme transfers the phosphate group from a substrate to ADP. So, the phosphate group is coming from a substrate. For example, from phosphoenol pyruvate, last step of the glycolysis, that phosphate is given to pyruvate, to ATP. Sorry, phosphate is given to ATP to make ADP into ATP. In the last step, phosphoenol pyruvate is giving your the phosphate from a substrate. Phosphoenol pyruvate is a substrate for that enzyme, pyruvate kinase. So basically, it's happening like this. And in oxidative phosphorylation, it takes it from inorganic sources. This phosphate is taken, this part is taken from inorganic sources. That means phosphoric acid taken each case. But here, it is being taken for phosphoenol pyruvate, which is an organic compound. Are you clear about the difference here? Is it clear? Okay, fine. So what happens in substrate level phosphorylation? Say for example, ADP is getting converted to ATP. You want to find out what is the difference. In both cases, ADP is getting converted to ATP. So what is the difference between substrate level phosphorylation and oxidative phosphorylation? In substrate level phosphorylation, the ADP gains the phosphate to form ATP from a substrate, an organic substrate. For example, phosphoenol pyruvate is the substrate, glycolysis substrate that is getting converted into pyruvate. And in the process, it is transferring the phospho of the phosphoenol pyruvate to ADP, and it's forming ATP. And over here, it is taking inorganic phosphate, say from phosphoric acid or something. There is no substrate involved, just phosphate. Soluble phosphate is just taken out. Here the phosphate is not soluble, it's a covalent bonded phosphate. You need an enzyme. Here also you need an enzyme, but it's taking it from the matrix. Are you clear now?
হ্যাঁ স্যার বুঝতে পারছি সাবস্ট্রেট লেভেলে মানে একটা সাবস্ট্রেট থাকবে যেরকম
এক্স্যাক্টলি অক্সিডেটিভেতে ডাইরেক্টলি ইনঅর্গানিক জিনিসটা নিয়ে নিচ্ছে
হ্যাঁ সলিউবল ফসফেট নিয়ে এখানে হয়ে যাবে
এক্স্যাক্টলি
বুঝতে পেরেছি
এবারে ইনহিবিটরস এন্ড কাপলার এটা দিস ইজ আ চার্ট which you have to remember uncoupler means in this step you এটাকে একটু সরাই let the bottom part go. This is a one drawback of Google slides, is that this thing comes up, pops up while presentation. So in the bottom of the screen, on the left side, you see that there is an uncoupler. So the step which actually this is the oxidative phosphorylation part, and this is the electron transport part. So if you something which will stop the block this from here, this is known as uncoupler. Okay, it's coupled. This electron transport chain is coupled to this thing. Okay, and it is attached to this thing. So you remove the attachment over here. The attachment is removed. And inhibitor is something which will block this compound. The attachment is not removed, but it is going to block. Uncoupler will work in this step because this is where it's coupled. And here it is inhibiting. That this function will not work. So there are a lot of names. You need to remember a few of these names. These are uncouplers which will separate the oxidative phosphorylation part and the electron transport chain. Both will work independently. And ultimately the whole thing will crash and stop. Ultimate effect is you stop the electron transport chain. But where to stop? These are the different places you can stop. So then one was the chemiosmotic theory of oxidative phosphorylation. This is nothing. The coupling of ATP synthesis is indirect via an electron transport chain. The same thing which I mentioned, that it is coupled. This is the electron transport chain. It is coupled to oxidative phosphorylation. That is ATP and inorganic phosphate is forming ATP. ADP and inorganic. This is basically oxidative phosphorylation. It's not substrate level phosphorylation. It is given by Peter Michel, who received the Nobel Prize for this. Now there comes an interesting slide which you have to see. Are you able to see this video moving?
Yes, sir.
This is basically, they have attached a dye or a color or a fluorescent dye, a living dye, on top of the ATP synthase rotor. So the moment they are adding H plus ions over there, it is turning, and they are recording it in an electron microscope. So whenever they are adding hydrogen ions, this thing is moving like a dynamo.
এটা ওই ডায়নামোটা হাইড্রোজেন পাস করছে যেটা
এক্স্যাক্টলি ওটা ঘুরছে ঘোড়াটা দেখাচ্ছে, ঘোড়াটাকে ইমেজ করে, এটার জন্য নোবেল প্রাইজ পেয়েছিল। মানে attached a dye, the ATP synthesis turning. মানে this is just a dye is just, মানে covalently it is attached to the say unit of ATP synthesis, the one which is rotating, the rotor. রোটারের সঙ্গে ডাইটাকে অ্যাটাচ করে দিয়েছে। এবারে যেই হাইড্রোজেন আয়ন উপরে দিচ্ছে,
ওখানে তো মাইটোকন্ড্রিয়া নেই, তাহলে ওটা থাকছে ওটা
একটা মেমব্রেনের উপরে they have synthesized a membrane. They have taken a membrane, they have chemically made this rotor unit, and to this rotor unit they have attached chemically a dye, and they have kept it on. It's an artificial system.
ওটাই বলছি,
kept it on a base. হ্যাঁ, একটা মেমব্রেনের উপরে they have kept this particular rotor of ATP synthase. That this ATP synthase moves as a dynamo, this is a proof actually. So the moment you add hydrogen ion over there, immediately it starts to go in, pass through this particular ATP synthase. They have synthesized this ATP synthase. They have made it.
লজিকটা বুঝলাম,
and it starts to move.
কি করে মানে ওটাই অ্যাকচুয়ালি কিভাবে ওটা করেছে ওটা বুঝতে পারলাম না।
মানে ওটা করা যায়, প্রোটিনটাকে তৈরি করা যায় আর্টিফিশিয়ালি, you can synthesize protein. হ্যাঁ, so you can isolate protein also. You can make it in bacteria and you can isolate the protein. You isolate the protein, you can study the structure of the protein. The study of crystallography, NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance. By this you can get the structure of the protein. So you synthesize the good protein which gives the good structure, and now what you are doing is you attach it to a membrane. Cell plasma membrane পড়াবো, you will understand. You attach it to a membrane, and immediately you attach a dye. This dye is, you can see this dye. So you attach it. So the moment you add it, it starts to rotate. You have synthesized it artificially. And say for example you isolate cell membrane. You isolate a cell membrane. You keep it will form little circular structure known as micelles. So on this you can isolate membrane. You can freeze these membranes, and to that you can add all these ATP synthase enzymes, and it will behave just like this. And you keep it on a base. On top of this, you keep it like this, and you add over here your hydrogen ions, and this will start to rotate. Because hydrogen ions will pass from outside to inside, below it, and it will, in the process, it will start turning. So there are hundreds and hundreds of this. One of them, since it's a floating structure, you can't get an exact thing. So one of them has given such a beautiful picture. This was the proof that this moves like a dynamo. So with this, I end my. I'm stopping my slide sharing.
Thank you, sir.
I'm not stopping right now. Let me get back to my presentation. Okay, you are able to see me now. So what people do, you go the moment I will finish recording, it takes about half an hour for it to get recorded in my Google Drive. I will send you the link in Google Classroom. You go to the Google Classroom, and then you can go through my video, and wherever you are finding problems, you can, of course, you can frame your question. You can write it in the Google Classroom. So I have got this question. You are allowed to write your questions after watching these videos. And then, of course, I can reply, and you can call me also anytime you want. So what I feel is that this is a very important chapter which you people need to understand. So I'm right now, so I stop my video over here. Not the video, I'm stopping my recording actually. Okay.